We need to talk, man. And I listened to the first one of this brother speaking, man, but I just now starting to get around to this new one that just dropped out. So we gonna get straight into it, man. See what this brother got to say.
You seem pretty, emotionally intelligent, pretty sensitive to women's issues. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to have put your brand together if not. Do you think that in a dating marketplace, that those men, I guess men like you, I don't know if we can use you specifically, because you kind of have that balance, but men with that position, do you think they garner respect from Black women in the dating marketplace?
Like, let's just, men like a Derek Jackson.
Right, like a Derek Jackson. And let's take away how big he is,
No, I mean, it is what it is.
Okay, well, like a Derek Jackson, let's not take it away.
He's earned his name being involved in certain conversations. Yeah,
I would look at a Derek Jackson picture, not knowing what comes out of his mouth and be like, he looks like a pretty masculine man.
Yeah, okay.
But then,
So you mean as far as his position does that position garner respect from Black women?
Sensitivity,
Absolutely.
That. Okay.
I think it garners more respect than the manosphere.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though the manosphere calls him simp and he's a panderer and this and that.
But that's what pandering gets you. Like, there'll be no point of pandering if it didn't get you the love and respect of the people you're pandering to. So, absolutely. Like, telling somebody what they want to hear is always going to put you in their good grace.
Okay, do you think that telling, and I'm not pushing back on you because I love that brand. I think it's dope. You've worked really hard. But do you think that pandering has helped Black women in seeing the reality? Because like you said, they get lost in the sauce. They don't leave.
I do think it's helped. That would be like me saying I haven't helped. I think I've helped. I think Derek Jackson has helped. I think people who inspire women every day to pick up the pieces and move on have helped. The problem is not in telling them to do these things. The problem is in them overdosing on these things. Like I said, too much of...
Oh, shit. What you talking about, bro? What you talking about? Because we can look in the Black community, like, you got to think about it, like, Derek Jackson, he been kind of doing his thing for years now, Nothing has changed from his teachings. Nothing. You telling a woman what she wanted to hear, 9 times out of 10 is some level of lying in that. It's some level of, you don't have to take accountability for your own actions in that. It's a level of, he was wrong and I was right in that. So how are you helping somebody to see the reality of the situation if you telling them what they want to hear? Most people don't want to hear the truth. So if you tell them if you telling them what they want to hear, aren't you giving them lies? Aren't you giving them the smooth talk? Aren't you giving them the sugar-coated shit? I don't get it. Like, I really want to know, how does he think he helped in this type of situation? Because when we look at the Black community, good men struggle with talking to just regular women because of these type of situations. They believe in the stuff that they being pandered to. They believe in the stuff that they're being told. So you can never indulge too much into the truth. Let's go back a little bit and see exactly what he said. You can never indulge too much into the truth. Watch this.
The problem is not in telling them to do these things. The problem is in them overdosing on these things. Like I said,
you can never overdose on truth. Ever. You can't overdose on the right things. That blows my mind, because how do you fix a situation when you never fix the original problem? I'm gonna give you how Christ gave it to you. He said, You don't put new wine in old bottles. You don't sew a new piece of fabric on an old garment. You're gonna destroy the whole joint. You put new wine in new bottles. Meaning what? You have to correct the bullshit first. You can't just throw the sugar on the shit. You can't do that. You got to get rid of the shit first. So in most situations, right, you look at the Derrick Jackson types, right? Most of the time when you listen to him talk, he's speaking from a place where the men are wrong in most cases. When you listen to his content, for the most part, he's telling women that they don't have to do much, that what they think is what it is, when in most cases it's not. I think you understand that, bro. I think you understand that, bro. But you know, if it gets you followers, you know, but even when you look at the Bible, you know what I'm saying, the true prophets was hated. But you also had them prophets that would lie and tell people what they wanted to hear. They was revered. That's even in the Bible. The prophets that God was actually sending, they was being murdered. It is what it is, though.
Much of everything is not good. You know what I mean? So Derrick Jackson she's absolutely helped. But a Kevin Samuels is also helped too. And I think the fact that people would try to discredit people like a Kevin Samuels and say he hasn't helped is unfair, because there's an audience that needs to hear what he's saying the same way there's an audience that needs to hear what Derrick Jackson is saying.
But in that situation though, right? Like for me, this just me. Maybe I didn't see it. Maybe I haven't come across it. But I've never seen anybody get on social media and tell a testimonial of how what Derrick Jackson was teaching them helped them later on in life. I've never seen it. Now, and if somebody got the evidence of it, send me the video. I would like to see it. I would like to see where a woman met a guy that she actually wanted to be with off the teachings that Derrick Jackson was giving them. Because most of the time in Derrick Jackson's teachings, there was no accountability, there was no change involved on the woman's part. So, because you can't, to me it's hard to compare the Kevin Samuels to the Derrick Jacksons, because you can see there's evidences of people coming and making videos saying that, hey, I listened to Kevin Samuels' content, it hurt at first, but then I had to be honest with myself, I fixed this, and this, and I got married soon after. Where's those situations for Derrick Jackson? It ain't too many situations where you can tell somebody a lie or pander to somebody and you get good results.
He's helping the people who need his help. No different from Kevin Samuels is helping the people that need his life. You know what I'm saying? Everyone doesn't need the same treatment. You understand? We don't all need the same treatment. So I think they're both very necessary.
I agree. And I think that with our society, we are very fixated on absolutes.
Yeah.
If something's good, then it's good. And if it's bad, then it's bad. And there's no balance between the two. And maybe we don't have the emotional intelligence to take what we need from those different pockets and use it, you know, like we did in school.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree with that. For you, has your sexuality ever come into question when you didn't act stereotypically masculine or when a woman disagreed with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think
like that's a norm amongst men when you disagree with women.
The answer to both, like, because there's kind of two questions there.
Yeah,
there's
for sure.
Didn't fit, and then the disagree. Didn't fit, yes. Disagree, also yes. And I actually had this conversation less than 48 hours ago. We were talking about how the black male masculinity is the most fragile thing in America. Like literally the most fragile thing in America, because if you don't fit into the mold of what, and typically the mode is street. The mode for black men is street, hood. Give you an example. If you're in the mall and a white man walks past you with a suit on, you don't think anything of it. If you're in the mall and a black man walks past you with a suit on, why does he have a suit on? Like, what's wrong with a black man with a suit? You understand what I'm saying? So not being street as a black man has already raises an eyebrow. Like, why you're not street? You're not black enough. So I definitely get, I live in Baltimore, and
I want to speak to that real quick because I honestly feel like that comes from a lack of having fathers. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like when you have a majority of the children in the black community they raised without fathers, you're looking to other sources to see what masculinity is. Because I feel like when you look throughout the history in America for black people, a black man wearing a suit wasn't always that taboo. So how did it change like that? You remove the fathers out the household. You don't get that father in the household teaching you how to put on a tie. You don't get that father in the household teaching you, hey, this is how you move in society. You pull your pants up. You keep your hair groomed. These are the things that we was being taught back then. But when you move into this feminist society, when you start moving into this female-led society, you stop seeing masculinity on a day-to-day basis in terms of the person who get to talk to you every day. We lost that, and now we saying black masculinity is fragile. Not really. It's the fact that the fathers are not in their homes. The role models, the people that should be good, like the people that would be good role models, they are not becoming parents. In the black community, an overwhelming majority of the people that's, I would say the undesirables, are the ones having the children. The people that's having the children are not good role models. They're not a good source of masculinity to even look at. That's what we see in the black community. But let's kind of go back to the pandering shit. You have to go back and correct the things that happen for the men to be put out of the household. You got to go back and correct those. You got to go back and correct those thought processes that led to that. So telling a group of women what they need, what they want to hear, is not always beneficial, because you need to hear the truth, and most people don't want to hear the truth. I mean, I feel like that makes sense. Just thinking about it, that makes sense. You have to fix the original problem. Now, I be saying this because just thinking about it. When you look at throughout the history, black men was not the problem in America. We wasn't. How all of a sudden, after you get 50 years of negative publicity, now we the worst in society. Now we the worst in the black community. How does that make sense? When we have the records to show that when the men was in place, our communities ran a lot smoother. Make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. We don't have a masculinity problem. We have a father problem. That's the issue.
I definitely don't dress like the dudes in Baltimore. I don't talk street. I never try to, be a street person. Like, that's far from who I am. So absolutely, like like that's common for me. And as far as a black man being questioned if he doesn't agree, I think look at any black man who's ever said anything that black women didn't agree with.
Facts.
If it wasn't stay out of black women's conversations, if you want to be a black woman, just say that. Or he secretly like men because why is he talking? Like, you have to be gay. You know what I'm saying?
That's always the go-to.
It's always the go-to.
That's a fact.
Black male masculinity is the most fragile in America. Black women will throw that card out so fast because they feel it's the most offensive thing they can call it.
But you gotta really think about it. You gotta really think about it though. We talking about a group that don't really get critiqued, on a social level. I mean, like all of them, we don't really see that. We got the years of black men ain't shit. Y'all need to fix this, and this, and we got that. You know what I'm saying? I know for a fact that I was internalizing some of the things that I was hearing growing up in terms of the black men ain't shit. They need to do this, and this. So I made it a point to do this, and this to take me out of the fucking category of niggas ain't shit. I know I did that, right? So and when you're in a situation where you're trying to tell women or speak on a woman's issue, they immediately attack your manhood. Why? Because most men are going to react to that and stop correcting them. Stop telling them the things that they don't want to hear. 9 times out of 10, most of the time when you saying stuff like that and they kind of bring up if you're gay or not, you're making a point that they don't want to deal with. So why do you pander to them if that's the type of rhetoric that you get when you try to tell them the truth? I'm pretty sure they don't question your masculinity when you telling them what they want to hear. It's only when you disagree. How do you get positive outcomes out of that? That's a serious question. How do you get positive outcomes from a group that don't want to hear the truth? But I'm gonna end it right there, man. I'm gonna let y'all, watch the rest of this clip, man. I'm gonna put the original clip in the description, man. The brother is a very intellectual brother, man. But if he, hey man, if you on that Derrick Jackson stuff, man, come on, man. You gotta be honest too. You know what I'm saying? I can understand you making content to build the sisters up, but you also gotta make the content to tell them the truth as well. You got to tell them the truth as well. It's like my brother Big Jill used to say, you gotta cut them and put a Band-Aid on that shit. You gotta cut them, put a Band-Aid on that shit. What he mean by that? You got to tell them the truth and build them up right after that. You gotta cut down some of the bullshit that they own and build them up. You got to unlearn and relearn, That's how you got to do it. Can't keep telling them what they want to hear because they're not gonna get rid of this. They're not gonna unlearn the shit that they should have. They're not gonna unlearn the behaviors that got them in the situation in the first place that you even pandering to. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. I'm out.